Hi, everybody. My name is Kris Peters, and I am running for the position of chair for Squaxin Island Tribal Council.
Why do you want to run for council? If elected, what would you like to contribute or to be known for? What leadership experience do you have working with committees, boards, etc.?
Okay, so I'd like to run for council because I believe um, I have what it takes to be a really strong leader and move our tribe forward. We have a wonderful tribe, but in reality, when I think about the tribal chair position and being the best that it can be, there's four main components. One is experience, two is education, three is personality, and four is heart. And I have the experience. I've got over 20 years working in tribal government. I've got the education. I have multiple higher degrees in tribal administration and federal Indian law. Three, personality. I think you need somebody that has the ability to connect with people from multiple levels, from state and federal agencies, within our own tribal government, employees, and be able to connect and speak to the public. And then four, most importantly, is the heart. 20 years of public service, I've always had the heart do the job, meaning it wasn't just a job, it was something that I have always done in regards to doing it for people. And it wasn't just doing a job, but more of trying to work for our people and better our community. And my experience is I've been a police chief, I've been the tribal administrator, I've been on multiple boards. I'm currently on the gaming agency. I've been on our budget commission. I've been on our museum board. Um, and I've been in multiple leadership positions. I've led change in multiple ways. I've rewritten policies. And is that all the questions?
I think so.
Okay.
What successful strategies would you develop to empower our people? How would you balance the tribe's business interests with cultural identity?
Yeah, good question. So to empower people is to have them involved. And right now we have a couple of um, community meetings a year and obviously the general body meeting, but we don't have a real comprehensive approach to community involvement, meaning multiple community forums where we actually present and have good feedback and back and forth. And the other thing is involving some of our groups, like our youth council, actually having council members, including the chair, go to the youth council and our elders committee and speak to them on what council is doing and get feedback from them, get input, and then have them be on our council agenda. Those are just two examples of people that we can have involved in our decision making process. But we should be having focused meetings with our community throughout the year on decision making, and then also general events where we allow our community to come and speak to us. And then we also have a place for feedback where we're not just getting the information and writing it down, but we also, again, part of this comprehensive approach is having a place where we bring this back to our community and share it with them, our decision making processes. In regards to our enterprises and culture, this is a missing piece, not just in our enterprises, but overall. We need to be branding our product. We are the Squaxin tribe, we are the people of water, we are the seven inlets. And that really, our way of life should be branded in everything we do, especially our enterprises. Our casino and our sea stores, our Salish seafood, it starts with in our government, our policies should, our culture and where we came from should be ingrained in those policies. And it should be part of our onboarding process. And should be ongoing, and everything we do is reminding our employees and our customers who we are and what we are made of, and what we're about, all the way across the board. And even though enterprises and government are two separate entities, there should be some synchronization in regards to who we are as a tribe, and there should never be any difference there. So,
To ensure that tribal council makes decisions with generations ahead in mind, what changes do you propose?
yeah, absolutely. So right now, I think there's a missing link in working with our youth. Now, we have wonderful employees working with our youth right now, and it's fantastic. I know the work that Jamie's doing is so great. Um, and I know that our youth council is very involved. They're doing a lot of great things, and they've come to council from time to time. But I want it to be a standing agenda where they are coming to council on a regular basis, doing presentations, but also working with us, learning the ins and outs of the politics and the work, and the things that we do, bringing them on travel. We need to be going to their meetings and not just listening in, but actually presenting to them on what we're working on and some of the decisions we're making and get feedback from them. Actually involve them in the conversations. I think would be incredibly valuable to our youth, because as we're talking about these young adults, and they're ranging from early teens to late teens, they truly are our future council members and leadership positions here at the tribe. And so we really need to start working with them now, to set them up for success. Because if we set them up for success, we are setting our tribe up for success. And so that has to be something that, not just something we talk about or kind of do in the peripheral. It really needs to be up front. So that was the. There's other things, but that's what I would do right up front.
How do we make our leaders accountable? What, in your opinion, would create transparency?
So accountability. Well, I mean, I hear it all the time, is a lack of transparency overall. And so one of the first things is our council meetings. And I'm hearing we're working on a system for recording and potentially having those be live, or at least be allowed for people to see and watch. I think that's important because people will actually see how our council members are acting and making decisions in the moment. That's very telling, I believe. Um, and that'll go a long way. The other thing, as I spoke to before, are more of a comprehensive approach to working with our community, not just having a couple meetings throughout the year that are just open, but actually more focused meetings with an agenda and topics for discussion, where we are giving input to our community and having conversations about the decisions we're making. That'll open up conversations, and then the biggest thing again is feedback. When we make decisions or things are happening, we come back to our community and let them know what we have done, the thought process behind it, and why we made that decision. That'll go a long way in transparency and them being involved in what we're doing from day to day.
What would you do to prepare our tribe for future disasters such as a pandemic or an earthquake?
Yeah. So first, I think considering the way this current pandemic has happened, I think our tribe. I'm really actually proud of our tribe and the way they handled it, because I've watched other communities, other cities, states, tribes, and nobody was perfect. Nobody did it right per se, um, because it hit us all, with we weren't quite ready for it. But our tribe, I think, was out in front of it for the most part. Did a nice job responding. I know that our leadership was had the community in mind in all their decision making, even though they had to make some tough decisions. So I'm proud of our tribe. We spent a lot of years preparing for disasters, and we had people in place. This one was unique, but I think we can build off that. So the first thing you do is you have to take a look at what happened here and do a really good assessment of how it came out, how we reacted. Look at every single decision. Hopefully, we kept good notes and documented well, and we just do a really good comprehensive review of everything that happened, and we're honest with ourselves and we have good discussion, and then we grow from it. And if we need to rewrite policies, if we need to add staff, if we need to have a pandemic plan that needs to be updated, then those are the things we do, and we roll up our sleeves, because what we're finding out is that these types of things can no longer be kind of in the background. They have to be at the forefront, because all the things that we think are important, like our economics and our digs and all these meetings, they just go on the wayside if we're not prepared for a pandemic like this. And so we have to have this out in front. And I think one of the biggest things is our leadership needs to be involved. And I can tell you in the past that it's kind of wavered in regards to our elected officials and leadership and being involved in our emergency management. Um, as leadership, we have to be at the forefront and involved in this. Trust our professionals, but be in the know and help guide. And I think that'll go a long way. And obviously, I think we also need to be doing a better job of community involvement with our emergency management. I love our CERT team. We need to continue to grow and support that. We need to be working with our community throughout the year on how to be prepared for pandemics and other emergencies. I think a lot of that will go a long way.
Thank you, Kris. Is there anything else that we didn't touch on that you want to add?
Yeah, so I think that as I spoke to about at the beginning, the four aspects of who I am with my experience, um, my education, my personality, and my heart, I think are four things that you. There's many things that you want in your leadership. Those are things that you have to have. I think if you want a well-rounded chairperson, and I just ask that you truly, when you go to vote on the 27th, you look at the people on there and you truly look at each individual. Put the names aside, put the family ties aside, and look at each name and decide who has the most well rounded experience, who is the most well rounded person to do the job the greatest. And because we're a good tribe and we've done a lot of things really well for a long time. It's time to be great. And so, what I want you to do is look at those names and decide who is going to be the best person for the job overall. And that's going to be difficult because there are a lot of really good people. And all I ask is that you vote for Kris Peters.